This video will show you 4 simple steps you can use to help prevent lower back injuries when lifting objects. Each step is supported by current scientific evidence in the fields of biomechanics and motor control. Lower back pain is one of the most common orthopedic disorders, and around 80% of people experience it in their lifetime. Lower back pain often arises from the way we move and position our bodies when we lift objects. Injury often occurs due to repeatedly using poor mechanics, even when lifting light objects. The idea of simply having a bad back is largely a myth. Most backs don't simply exist bad, but rather they develop dysfunction through using poor mechanics repeatedly over time. Each of the 4 steps will show you the fundamental components of proper lifting mechanics so that you can use your body more efficiently while preventing injury to your back. Each step will also comparatively show you commonly used poor lifting mechanics that increase the risk of back injury. So each step will show you first, what to do and why, and second, what not to do and why. Step 1. Approach the object as closely as possible while still being able to pick it up. The reason for this is that the closer your hips are to the object, the less torque you place on your lower back when you perform the lift. Torque is a rotational force applied to an object, and there are 2 factors that affect it: force and distance. In the image here, look at the spine as a rigid lever and the hips as the point of rotation or fulcrum for the lever. The object being lifted acts as the perpendicular force pulling straight down on the lever. Since the mass of the object cannot be changed, the only way to reduce torque is to reduce the horizontal distance between the perpendicular force, which is the object, and the point of rotation, which are the hips. For the sake of brevity, all you need to know about torque when it comes to lifting is that the closer you are to an object when picking it up, the less torque you place on your lower back. Less torque means less effort required by your back muscles and less strain on spinal joints. Naturally, the further your hips are from the object, the harder your muscles have to work and the more strain you place on spinal joints, increasing the risk of injury to both of these tissues. The concept of torque can be intuitively and kinesthetically understood with a simple exercise. If you hold an object against your chest and then slowly push it out away from you in a horizontal direction, you will notice that the object will feel heavier and heavier, increasing the challenge on the arm and shoulder muscles. The mass of the object does not change, but the distance between the object and the point of rotation increases, making the object feel heavier due to increased torque. So to effectively make the object lighter, hold it as closely as possible to your body, reducing torque. Step 2. When lowering your body to pick up the object, push your hips backwards and bend your knees moderately while maintaining a tall torso posture and a natural arch in your lower back. To break the descent down step by step, initiate and guide the overall movement by bending your hips and pushing them behind you. The knees bend naturally, following the motion of the hips. While your torso is being lowered, be mindful to maintain a natural arch in your lower back and a tall torso posture, which can both be aided by looking straight ahead. Incorrect ways of lowering your body to pick up the object include rounding your spine forward, tucking your pelvis under your torso, keeping your knees straight, and looking down. By using these poor mechanics when lifting, you excessively strain your lower back muscles and the posterior ligaments of your spinal joints. You also increase the compressive forces placed on the intervertebral discs of your lumbar spine, which increases the risk of repetitive trauma that leads to disc herniation. Step 3. Brace your core before lifting the object. Bracing is the action of consciously contracting your core, which creates tension in the muscles surrounding the lumbar spine. The abdominal and lower back muscles that get activated by bracing stiffen the lumbar spine and lock it into a naturally arched position, which is the safest spinal posture for lifting. It's difficult to visually demonstrate an abdominal brace, but essentially all you do is harden your abs as if you are preparing to receive a punch to the gut. The degree to which you brace depends on how heavy the object is. Lighter objects require less bracing, and very heavy objects require near maximal bracing. If you don't brace before lifting, you risk losing proper positioning as soon as you lift the object off the ground, causing your body to fall into the poor mechanics that were previously mentioned: the spine rounding, the pelvis tucking under the torso, the knees straightening, and the eyes looking down. Step 4. While lifting the object, pull it into your body, keeping it as close as possible to your hips. The purpose of this last step is the same as the first step: Reducing the space between your hips and the object reduces torque, which leads to less effort required by your back muscles and less strain on spinal joints. In general, during any lifting, the weight being picked up will try to swing away from you. Therefore, you must actively pull the object into your body while lifting it to avoid placing unnecessary torque on the lower back. When putting the object back down, all the same steps apply. You brace your abs, you guide the descent by pushing your hips back, breaking at the knees moderately, while maintaining a natural arch in your lower back in a tall torso posture, and you keep the object as close as possible to your body until you let it go. Not all objects can be lifted the same way, and some require awkward positioning. However, these fundamental safe lifting techniques still apply and should be followed as closely as possible to increase lifting performance and decrease the risk of back injury. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. For free information on strength training, injury prevention, weight loss, and stress management, visit colinbrandon.com.